Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex and this is Big Baby Reviews. Today is Dale Keown Day, so we are looking at what is basically the last issue of PITT. This is issue number 20, cover dated February 1999. As far as covers go, it doesn't really give us any indication at the end. I don't think this was planned in any way. I don't even know if this was actually planned to be the last issue, but this is where it ended. Gotta say, unfortunately, reviewing the whole PITT series, it's been kind of disappointing to see near the end. As a kid, I originally collected it all the way up to, I think, issue 5 or 6, and that's kind of where I stopped. When I started reviewing them again, I was, happily surprised to find that, those issues after I was actually kind of interested in. I thought PITT kind of had a cool storyline. All kind of fell apart, though, around issue 15 when they did this kind of PITT goes in stasis for 5 years and then comes out of it. And then the storyline completely different. Got a, Dale Keown not headlining the story, or however you want to put that. We've got Richard Pace coming in and the tone completely changes. I've talked about it. So I'm really kind of disappointed with the last 5-6 issues of PITT. Just taking a completely different turn and just kind of being a little bit directionless, other than this whole kind of political intrigue and PITT killing Bill Clinton, which it turns out it wasn't actually Bill Clinton. It was like a clone of him or an imposter. And then the people who wanted Bill Clinton killed just killed him anyways, the actual Bill Clinton. Very convoluted. All of a sudden, the political stuff, not quite sure where that was worked into PITT. It wasn't there before, and just doesn't feel like the kind of title that would necessarily warrant anything like that. So yeah, the series kind of ends on a whimper. Nothing wrong. Let's start with the cover. Great shot of, who's going to be PITT's protagonist or opponent in this issue. I'm pretty sure PITT kept up the tradition. Pretty much every issue of PITT has PITT fighting a monster or a robot or something cool like that. So there's always at least that when it comes to consistency. In this case, we'll meet this character here who I've talked about before, I think last review, who to me just once again looks like an even more exaggerated version of PITT. It's like Dale Keown is creating characters that have just exaggeratedly huge teeth, no nose, right, and huge claws, and that's all he just kind of seems to strip mine at this point. Another character who ends up kind of looking like Hulk 2099, right? And I'm kind of disappointed because the cover itself I think is cool looking shot and everything, but it's actually a pinup or a splash page panel within the comic, so it's like recycling a splash page for your cover, kind of cheap, especially for the last issue. Again, I don't know if it was intended to be that, but that is basically what it ended up being. So enough about all that in preamble. Let's have a look inside and I'll show you what I mean about being highly disappointed here. Pencils and inks, Dale Keown, and I'm going to repeat that I don't think he's inking at all. I think he's just penciling, and you can see some penciling telltale signs, the lighter lines, almost like graphite that you can see, like, right? It's not the texture of it, basically. You can see that it's pencil, and not that I have a problem with that, but just don't claim they're inks, because what he's doing is penciling very tight and then just playing with the levels. Plot and script, Richard Pace once again, who brings in the storyline that makes no sense. Colors, a whole bunch of different people, and that's basically it. So I'll read the preamble here, which basically doesn't even, it surmises a bit of the events of the past few issues, but then also explains where we're at here. So you really would have to read this between the last issue and this one to understand what's going on in the storyline. You'll see. 3 strange and powerful beings gather to bear witness to what may be the last battle of PITT's life. Okay, that didn't happen last issue. That's going to happen in this one. Okay, so that hasn't happened yet. Urgrol Thul, the extra-dimensional necromancer. So I talked about when I saw the ad in the last review that I think Richard Pace is just strip mining from H.P. Lovecraft, right? And those monsters that cannot be described, and et cetera, et cetera. So he has arrived to devour the very life essence of the Creed hybrid, who's PITT, right? And as Jerub's prophecy begins to manifest, his words echo in PITT's mind. Urgrol Thal wants more than your death, PITT. It wants your soul. Oh, was that established with the Jerub, the alien kid, like issues ago? Maybe it was. I'd have to go back and make sure. Still, a lot of the story won't make sense. So we have this character waking up, and I would describe him as the Phantom Stranger, right? We've got a bunch of analogs here, the 3 powerful, strange and powerful beings, right? And they're there to bear witness. So they're basically like the Watcher. So they're only there to watch and not intervene really into it. So it's like, why are they even there? You've got basically, I don't know if he's ever called by his name in here, but that's clearly Odin, right? And especially, I would say more specifically, the Jack Kirby Marvel version of Odin, very clearly, very similar, right? A lot of Kirby-esque flourishes in the costume. Looks great art-wise. I'm not complaining about the art. Once again, Dale Keown, I will say, is super strong once again. And this guy here, I would have to assume that that's Doctor Strange. Kind of like the design, right? Like the way the stars kind of within the shadows of his cape. I think that looks cool. But yeah, he's basically just a Doctor Strange analog. All of a sudden we got this character, and we got quotes about William Shakespeare and The Tempest. Like, man, what is going on here? This is not the Pitt that I knew. And so this character with 2 fingers, looks kind of like a hippopotamus man, right? Is summoned by Urgrul, this guy here, who is, you know, from this shot, I'm almost sensing it's like Dale Keown's version of Malbolgia from Spawn. Kind of a demon-esque, right? And he's sitting on Spawn's throne. Yeah, so just, you know, you've got this interdimensional being that wants to kill Pitt. Artwork's amazing. Brings back these Axiom characters, right? Is that what their name was? I think it was Axiom. The team kind of helping out Pitt, flying around and stuff, and flying him away after having killed Bill Clinton. And we get the shot of Pitt brooding in the back, of course. Always brooding as Pitt. Reintroduced at least to one interesting character, because you know what? Timmy doesn't appear in this issue, and, you know, last we saw his head had been cut off and had started, you know, we thought he was dead, and his eyes lit up and his head started floating up, and we will have no resolution to that. So no resolution to Timmy's story at all. Not even a real resolution to Pitt's, because again, I'm going to go through this quickly because as amazing as the artwork is, there's just not much of the story that's interesting to me. And again, disappointing issue that I want to get through. Alarms and stuff. So here he comes. Urgrul shows up. Same shot as the cover. I thought this was kind of an interesting sequence, though, within the issue. Just one interesting bit. Urgrul kind of pushes forward some lava. I guess it's crackling through, and our dinosaur boy pushes Bobby out of the way. His legs are singed off. That's pretty gruesome. And now we get our Pitt versus, you know, Ultra Pitt fight once more. And again, I got nothing to say about the visuals. Kick-ass artwork all throughout this whole series, and this issue is no exception. But storyline-wise, very disappointing. So some of these souls, basically, Urgrul said he wouldn't hear these ghosts scream. They're screaming to be free, so Pitt absorbs the ghosts that Urgrul is using against him and telling him how to free them. So... and that's how he gets rid of Urgrul. Kind of a fun shot here of, like, once again, yet another version of, like, ultimate super creepy awesome Pitt. I guess it's like Jason in the movies, right? How he kept, you know, was it Jason X, where now he's like a sci-fi cyborg zombie guy, just keeps up in the ante. That's the expression, right? And there we go. Is it dead? No, it's only retreated, and that's literally the last we're gonna know about Pitt. At least in his own series. And then these guys here, do you have any comprehension of what you've done? No, and neither do you know what will come of this, and neither do any of us, right? Maybe that's in the writing on purpose there. I don't know. It is a beginning or an ending for all of us. If we are destroyed, the blame will lay at your door. We will tell what you've wrought. Everyone will know that you are the one responsible for this. Well, someone has to be, and that's literally how the Pitt series ends, on a character that we only were introduced in this issue and really matters not within the whole 20 issue span. So that's what I mean about Pitt, the last issue 20, just being very disappointing, unfortunately. I am disappointed because I do think, as I mentioned it earlier on when I started the review, that up till about issue 9, 10, 11, you know, I do think Pitt was still kind of a fun series and had some promise if he had just kept going with, like, the younger Timmy. And even, you know, jumping 5 years in the future and seeing an older Timmy, it's the Timmy aspect of the whole, or Tim or Timothy, whatever you want to call him. Timmy maybe when he's a baby, when he's a kid. The fact that there's absolutely no resolution there is probably what bugs me the most there. And that something was built up 5 years later in the last few issues with Timmy, but that he never meets up with Pitt, and that it doesn't get resolved at all. Even PITT, I mean, just, okay, so he beat another monster, and that's where it ends. Yeah, so there you go, guys. Unfortunately, a disappointing ending to the whole PITT saga. Nothing came out after this, not that I know of, so maybe a few crossovers or something. And if I do, I have one more Dale Keown issue. I think it's a Darkness Incredible Hulk crossover that I'll look at, and that'll pretty much be it for Dale Keown, unless I find some more stuff in between now and a couple more weeks. Anyways, I'll keep you posted on more Dale Keown stuff or something new on Thursdays. If you're still watching, guys, thank you so much, and I really do appreciate it, the fact that you're subscribed and helping out the channel. If you're not subscribed, please do so below. It only takes a quick second for you, and it helps us out, helps us grow, and helps get us out there to other people who are into comic books just like we are. So everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have yourselves an awesome day.
Like, subscribe, like, subscribe.
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KINGCOMICS.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.